Well, what is the theme of our news today? I think it's very much on the fact that it can't possibly be true that we have elected politicians who are discussing our best interests in Parliament, and we're now about to go through an election to select the latest best group of right honourable men and women in order to run our lives to the best of our satisfaction. I think something rather different is going on. And we're going to have a look in particular at propaganda and facts and misinformation in this news edition. So if you've joined us, welcome. Let's have a look, and let's start with a very simple tweet that was sent through to me. And I thought, with my morning cup of tea, my goodness, this is really incredible. So here's the tweet. It's from @DefenceHQ, the UK's Ministry of Defence. It says, here's the reality. NATO never agreed it wouldn't expand and has been open to new members since it was founded in 1949. Its job is keeping its members safe. And I've commented on that by saying, as NATO weapons are unleashed on Russia at the hands of Western NATO allies, the UK Ministry of Defence pumps out the propaganda of "we've got clean hands." So let's have a look at this fascinating little video clip. Well, there we are, short and sharp with empowering, solemn music. And of course, the message is that we've done nothing wrong. It's all those nasty Russians. And the question is, has NATO pushed forward and effectively intimidated and forced the Russians into action? Well, that's what the Russians would say. But what was particularly interesting was just to have a little look at how the public responded to this video. So they were clearly challenging that little video clip, the myth. We had this one by Thinking Slow, and then we arrived to the 2008 Bucharest summit of NATO, which was a massive mistake on the Western side, trying to push Georgia and Ukraine into NATO. It was, quote, stupid at every level at that time. If you want to start a war with Russia, that's the best way of doing it. And that was an interview with Sir Roderick Line, British Ambassador to Russia, 2000 to 2004. And the person who posted this tweet, X, has even been kind enough to put the link through to the document itself. So I'm going to say this is really interesting because we've got the public actually engaging in order to challenge what the Ministry of Defence has said. Simplicicus here has actually put out part of a document. Now, I'm taking the document at face value at the moment, but in it, there's a quote supposedly from the Secretary of State, James Baker. We understand the need for assurances to the countries in the East. If we maintain a presence in Germany that is part of NATO, there will be no extension of NATO's jurisdiction for forces of NATO 1 inch to the east. So these still need checking. However, the point I'm making is that it's very interesting to see the public coming back, and what they're effectively saying to the Ministry of Defence is, no, we are not accepting what you have said on face value. So if we put up two more, just to have a little look, let's bring this one in. So Lulu Bowen has said NATO is not sovereign. Is instructed and directed by European countries. So by proxy, NATO did agree to borders. France and Germany have absolutely overthrown the Minsk agreement. Now, there is more in this little tweet, but what I want to point out is the person is really thinking through what's going on. And of course, we start to see the blurring of the lines between what is NATO acting as NATO, what France and Germany are doing acting as sovereign states. This must be immensely confusing to the Russians, but of course it gives the opportunity for the Western powers, the US and UK in particular, to 1 minute hide behind their actions as a nation and the next minute hide behind their actions as NATO. Let's bring another one on screen here. And this is tougher. It says, no, the reality is NATO is not keeping anyone safe. It's backing wars in foreign countries like Ukraine. And that goes on to say, if there were no allied partners, no one had everyone else's back, then the world would be much safer and happier for it. So it says there may be occasional small wars in some backwater, but it wouldn't drag everyone into the fight.